Welcome to Money, Manifestation, and Business, the podcast that shows you how to use your energy, intention, and consciousness to reprogram your money mindset, unleash a new level of possibility, and create a life and business that lights you up. I'm your host, Jamie Berman, and I invite you to join me each week for a dose of inspiration, coaching, and teachings to help you rewrite your money story, create abundance on your terms, and grow your business in a way that's fully aligned for you. This is going to be so much fun. Let's dive in. Hey y'all, so excited about today's episode because we are going to debunk one of the greatest lies about money that actually gets in the way of us making more of it and creating more impact in the world and creating more beautiful things in the world as an effect of having money. And that lie is this idea that we shouldn't want more. We shouldn't want more than we absolutely need, that it's wrong to desire money, right? Which is probably just a conditioned belief. So many people have that belief. I've had so many clients come into my world and said, I feel guilty having a money goal. I feel guilty wanting a lot of money or wanting more than I absolutely need. And we always unpack this, and I'm excited to unpack it in this episode today because it's really necessary to unpack it and to look at why do you think that and to question it. I mean, I'm all on board with you can keep whatever thought you want, whatever thought is serving you, but if it's not serving you, you probably want to question it. And if you have a belief like that, it's going to be hard to manifest money. It's going to be hard to grow your business. If you believe that it's wrong to have a lot of money or wrong to want more money or wrong to set money goals, right? That is a competing intention. And oftentimes when we are not hitting money goals or when we are struggling with a certain area of our life or certain, manifestation that we're trying to call in, what I oftentimes see is that there are what I call competing intentions, meaning we have one intention, but then we have another one that is completely competing with it. So for example, we might have one intention to have $1 million business, right? But then maybe there's another intention, which is subconscious, maybe not quite as strong or loud, but it's in the back of your mind saying, but it's wrong to want that much money. I shouldn't want that much. That's more than I absolutely need. That's more than I need to pay my bills. And we have this thought in the back of our mind, well, it's not really fair to want that kind of money because other people need it more. So if that's you, you definitely want to listen to this episode because that kind of competing intention will block the manifestation from happening, whether that's $1 million, whether that's $100,000, or whether it's, whatever number it is, it doesn't matter. But if you have some sort of belief that it's wrong to want money, I want to speak to you. And the reason I want to speak to you is because of all people in the world that should be making money, that we actually need making money, it's probably you. Because if you are concerned about wanting more money because you are an empathetic person, you are a kind person, you're thinking that if you have more, others are going to have less, that is coming from a place of kindness and compassion and love and empathy. It's coming from the right place. I'm not saying it's true in terms of how money works, but it means you are an empathetic, kind being. And that is the exact type of person that I think should be making more money. Because when kind, empathetic, compassionate, loving people make money, they circulate that money in a way that really serves the world, that serves their business and has a ripple effect on all that they serve in their business. They circulate it in a way that serves their community and those around them and their families. And really what it does when good-hearted, kind, empathetic people make more money is they tend to use it for good. And they create a really positive ripple effect of that money. Right? It's the type of people who do not care about others, who are self-centered. that may use money in a way that doesn't serve the world around them. But people like you, and I know you because I know my people, you all are loving, kind humans. And when money gets in the hands of people like you, good things happen. I've seen it time and time again, right? Because you want to think of it like this. Money is just a resource. It is actually a neutral resource. And I know so many of us have been conditioned to believe that it's greedy to want money, it's wrong to want money, that people who have a lot of money are greedy, but all of that is a complete lie. It's not true at all. Money and having a lot of money cannot turn you into a different person, right? And the truth is that whoever you are still going to be with money, right? So if you were already a greedy person who had lack of money, you will still be a greedy person when you have money, right? And there's lots of greedy people who don't have money, right? Just like there's lots of greedy people who have money. It's not the money or lack of money that makes you who you are, right? We unintentionally associate things like that, like, oh, rich people are this and rich people are that. Not true at all, right? You might have examples of that, but that's just because you're seeing a human that was maybe already greedy who just came into money or had money and they're living that out. They're expressing that. But the all opposite is also true. And if you start to look for it, you will see how it's true. There's a lot of people who have money who are extremely generous, who give and who use that money for good. Tons of generous, loving, kind people who have money. Just like there's tons of loving, kind, generous people who have a lack of money, who have less than, right? It is not money that makes you who you are. It doesn't build any characteristics within you. It's just a number. It's just a resource. So if you are already a kind person, you are going to be a kind person with the resource of wealth, with the resource of money, right? Money is like Wi-Fi. If you think about Wi-Fi is a resource. It's something that we can connect to, plug into, and use. You can use Wi-Fi for beautiful things. You can use it to write books, to express yourself, to share beauty with the world, to connect with other people, right? Think of all the beautiful things that we can do in this world as an effect of having Wi-Fi, which is a resource. It's not Wi-Fi that makes you a good person. It's that if you're a good person, you can use Wi-Fi to do good things in the world and really express yourself and share and inspire and do all the things. Hi, my friend, quick commercial break to let you know about something exciting that you're gonna wanna sign up for because number one, it's completely free, and number two, it's going to be amazing. You will create such a shift by coming to my upcoming coaching intensive, which is on March 18th through 20th. And the theme of this event is manifesting money with more ease. So if you feel like manifesting money in your business has been a bit of a struggle, or you don't know how to do it without hustling and burning yourself out, you're going to absolutely love this event because I am going to give you some practical tips that you can start practicing and bringing into your business. And on top of that, I'm going to open the floor for coaching so you can either get coached or watch others get coached through this. And that in and of itself will expand your mind in such a big way. I guarantee if you come to the 3 days, you will leave experiencing something completely different than when you came. You will be inspired, you will see through a new lens, and you will learn how to manifest more money in your business. So all you have to do is go to the show notes and click the link and get signed up. For this, space is limited. So again, it's free, but we do have a limited number of people that can come because it's a coaching intensive. So grab your spot soon. But the opposite is also true, right? You could use Wi-Fi to do bad things, to do evil things. You could use it to con people, to spam. You could use it, to, look up things that are just not serving you. You can use it to scroll the internet and buffer your life away, right? But it's not Wi-Fi that creates that. Wi-Fi is just there. It's the person tapping into the Wi-Fi that decides, do I want to use it for good? Or do I want to use it for something that's negative and not serving me? Now, money is the same way. What if you thought about abundance and wealth and money as the same way as Wi-Fi? It's just if you have access to it, you can use it in whatever way you want. You can use it for good. You can use it for beauty. You can use it to serve. You can use it to be generous. You can use it to impact. You can give to causes that matter, right? And you can use it for yourself too, to fulfill yourself, fill your cup, right? So, and on top of it, right, healthcare and things that you can do for your family, education, all of that type of stuff, right? We can use it for good. So it's really important that we stop blaming money, right? And stop saying it's wrong to want money, because the opposite is true. If you are a good human, it's actually a good thing to desire money. It's actually a good thing to decide to become wealthy, because you are going to use that resource of wealth in a way that is going to impact the world in a beautiful way. No doubt about it. And this episode is inspired because I was talking to a client, I was coaching her yesterday, and we were just coaching through this part of her that she had a money goal in her business. She said, I've been kind of stuck where I am, and I have this new money goal. I'm really stretching it because she just came into the movement. So she's stretching herself. She said, but I have this goal, but then there's this part of me that feels guilty for having it. And this part of me who feels like I shouldn't have a money goal. I shouldn't want money. I already have enough, right? I have enough to pay my bills. I have enough to get by. And I said, well, why do you have that money goal? Like, let's say you did create it. I said, what if you started making $500K in your business, right? Right now she's at like in the hundreds, right? 150 or 160K. And I said, if you started making 150K, what would you actually do with that money, right? I wanted to get into realistic, not what picture does your brain have of what wealth is, but like, what would you, as the human that you are, do with that money if you had more of it? How would you utilize it? How would you have it, hold it, and circulate it? And she said, oh, if I had 500K, I don't think much would change. She said, I love my house, but I would probably pay for my kids' education, and so that they don't have to take out loans and we don't have to take out loans, and there doesn't have to be any stretching around that. So she's like, I'd pay all my kids' education and college. She's like, I would definitely give more to my church. I love giving to my church, and I would give to my community. I'd be able to just give more of it. She's like, I'd also probably take more vacations with the family, or just take maybe better vacations without feeling like we're stretched. And that was really she's like, that's pretty much what I'd want to do with it. She said, also, I think put it back into the business a little bit, right? She had some ideas. I said, okay, so I want you to think about that version of you who's doing those things. I said, just to reflect, sounds like you're using it for positive things in the world. Like, none of that is affecting people in a negative way. If anything, it's only affecting them positively, right? Because I said, if you grow your business, think of how many more people you're going to help, how many more people you're going to serve, and then the ripple effect of that, right? Of like, if you help them, right? She happens to be a coach, but if you help them, then they get to go out and share that with the world. And there's a huge ripple effect just of growing your business, that in and of itself. And I said, and think about what your church would do with that money, right? What is the church actually going to do with it? What would change? She was thinking about all the beautiful things that the church could do to help serve the community, right? I'm like, yeah, that doesn't seem like something you should probably feel guilty about, right? Then I said, and vacations, taking nice vacations. She was a little stuck. She's like, I don't know how that's a good thing. I said, I will tell you how. I will tell you how. I said, I have had my place in Maui for the past 2.5 years or 2 years, something like that. And I have seen what has happened as tourism stopped, right? Because they had the wildfires that happened and tourism was way, way down. And I saw what happened as an effect of that. people were like, tourists, please come back. Please come to Maui. It serves because that money circulates to the entire community. To wherever you travel, that money is circulating. You're going to be able to tip people, right? You're going to tip the servers, the housekeepers, the people at the hotels. You're going to be able to go on excursions, and that supports the community, right? So when tourism's down, this is not a good thing for areas that rely on tourism. So she was like, oh, you're right about that. I was saying, I've seen this firsthand because with tourism going down that year after the wildfires, many people had to move off the island. They couldn't get by because they relied on tourism, right? I have seen people who work at hotels, things like that. Like that money that is circulated as an effect of you making more money, bringing that into communities, bringing that into areas that rely on tourism, it's only helping the economy. It's circulating, right? And so it kind of opened her eyes because she realized, oh, I think I had this idea of what wealthy would be, as if I'd be this entitled person walking around and everyone would hate me and everyone would judge me. And the reality of it is that's not true, right? So that is why I wanted to offer this to you, is to think about what would the wealthy version of you actually do if you let yourself have more money. In what ways would you hold it? In what ways would you circulate it? In which ways would you invest it that would actually serve the world, right? In what ways would it actually have a positive ripple effect? I think it's so important to look at that, because if that is true, why in the world should we feel guilty about desiring wealth, about desiring more money? And I know this point comes a lot, and people will say, well, Jamie, here's why we should feel guilty about it. Because other people don't have it. Other people need it more than me. And I get that. I totally understand, right? But this is coming from the wrong place. What we're essentially saying there is that if I have less, others will have more, right? If I shrink myself and I don't let myself create wealth, well, then that person down the street who has less is going to make more. Is that going to happen though? We have to question that. Like, does that actually work that way? If you shrink yourself, if you don't create the wealth that you want, if you do not play full out, shine your light brightly, share your gifts with the world, grow your business, does that affect that person you're looking at who doesn't have as much as you? Like, really, just question that. It doesn't. It actually doesn't. If it did, I would say, hey, if that's the case, maybe we need to work it in that way, right? Like if it would serve someone else, if it would mean more money for that person who's struggling over there, I'd say I'm probably on board, right? Because we're good people. We want everyone to thrive. But the truth is, it doesn't work that way. If you shrink and you have less, it doesn't affect that person. It really doesn't, right? It's not going to help them. So it just doesn't work that way. So there's no reason to feel guilty, because the truth is, we're kind of thinking of it like this. We're thinking that money is a pie, right? I always use the pie analogy. We are unintentionally looking at money in the wrong way, as if it's a pie, it's finite, it's concrete, and it's this circular concrete thing. And if I take one slice of the pie, it means there's less for others. But that is not how it is. Money is not finite. It's not concrete. It's, again, like I said, it's a resource. It's an energy. In fact, most of the money in the world is not even in physical form. A very small percentage of money is even in physical form in bills, right? So it's not like that. It isn't actually true that if you take some of the pie, others will have less. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, it's not that way at all. You kind of have to think of it more like if you allow yourself to take a piece of pie, you go and multiply. Like you take that pie and you create more pies and you're able to circulate more pies, right? It's actually, you know what I'm thinking about it like? It's kind of like kombucha or like sourdough, right? It's like a sourdough starter or a kombucha starter, where it's not like if you take that starter, it means no one else can have it. you're taking that starter and actually you're able to make way more kombucha, or you can make way more sourdough bread, right? As an effect of taking that starter. That is actually how money is, right? Because if you do allow yourself to create more wealth, you can circulate more wealth. You can create more abundance. You can actually create more jobs for others. And I've seen this firsthand. When I barely had any money, I could not be generous. I could not give to causes that matter to me. I could not hire help, right? I could not hire support. I could not hire team members. I really had to keep every bit of money that I had. But when I let go of that idea and started seeing money as more of an energy, right? It's not like this finite pie. It's more like the ocean. Or it's more like Wi-Fi, right? Where if I take a cup of water, or even like a huge heaping pool of water from the ocean isn't going to dry up. It just recirculates. And that is just how money is. You can actually see it. If you look on a day-to-day basis, how much money is in the world, that number is constantly changing. That number is constantly growing. It recirculates. That is the energy of money. So we have to let go of this idea that if I have money or if I let myself make money, others are going to have less. It's not true, especially someone like you who's not going to just hoard that money. You are going to allow yourself to have it and hold it, but you will also be circulating it in a way that's aligned with your values, right? So for me, as I have allowed myself to make more money, I can hire more people. There are several people in my life now who I'm able to employ as an effect of having more money and creating more money and setting money goals, right? I have my whole team in my business. I have a housekeeper that I absolutely love and adore, and I love to provide as much work for her as possible. I have, there's people that Josh works with that he's able to pay generously, right? So we're able to circulate that money, and that provides jobs for other people that then start to rely on that. So if you're going to think of it like a pie, you have to think of it like, oh, if I take a piece of pie, I'm going to make like 100 more pies with that one piece of pie. That is how money works. And this is why we do not have to feel guilty about desiring money, because it's not finite. It really is an unlimited resource that really just keeps on recirculating, refueling, refilling. And that's how money is. And so hopefully that clears up your money block around feeling guilty about creating money. Now, there's another one, though, I'm going to touch on that I see a lot, which is this idea is like, oh, now I don't see money as a pie. I don't see it as finite, but here's the block. I don't want to make more money, or I feel uncomfortable with a money goal because I'm scared that if I make more money, it's going to make those around me uncomfortable, right? It's going to make them judge me. People are going to see me differently. Now, this is a really common money block, right? And I'm going to debunk this one for you too, because I'm not saying you're not wrong. Some people might be uncomfortable, but the truth is there's two pieces to this. Number one, usually the opposite is true. I'm not saying there may not be some people who are uncomfortable by your wealth or with your wealth. But here's the thing is I actually think what it does more often than making people uncomfortable is it makes those around you more comfortable. I want to share why. Because you are able to be generous. You go to dinners, you can pay for it. You can take people out for coffee. I'm thinking about it. Something that has been a vision of mine as we moved to Maui of thinking, we're far from my family. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. That's where all of my family is. And I'm moving to Maui, and that is about 12 hours of flying. Now that's a lot, especially for my mom, right? And I was thinking, God, that would be so great to be able to just always upgrade her to first class. Like, how fun would that be? That's a vision that I was holding is like, when we move, that'd be so fun to be able to upgrade my mom to first class, right? So therefore, that is going to create a lot more comfort for her, again, and those around us, right? Because we can be more generous, right? When we're paying someone, we can pay them better. That creates more comfort. So it's funny how sometimes we have these ideas of what it's going to be based upon just what we were taught. But when we question it, it's like, kind of like Byron Katie says, sometimes the opposite is true. Oftentimes the opposite is true. So what if you having more money allows for people to be more comfortable? For example, like my client, she said, well, if I make more money, I could pay for my kids' education. They won't have to take out a bunch of loans, which is amazing because then they don't have to worry about that. They can put all of their energy and intention and consciousness and all the things into building up a new career. They don't have to worry about, oh, in 6 months, I'm going to have to, start paying off these loans. Like, how amazing is that? It creates comfort, not discomfort. And again, if there are people that it makes uncomfortable that you're thriving and creating wealth, you have to understand it through the context of that's their stuff. That's because they might have grown up with ideas of scarcity, with ideas that money is finite, that people shouldn't have money, it's wrong to not want money, and that's their stuff. It doesn't make them wrong. It's their stuff. And do you want to live your whole life around not hitting up against their stuff that they have to work with, right? So you just have to ask yourself, is it worth it to shrink myself so that I don't hit up against other people's stuff? The answer is probably not. And what you will probably find, because I have helped lots of people step into wealth, and I have rarely seen where these kind of fears actually play out. Because again, like I said, the opposite is usually true. People are usually blown away at what kind of support they have around them as they grow their business, as they step into wealth. They're usually, I would say the norm is probably more so that the people around them become inspired versus envious. That's typically the norm of what I see. And I've seen a lot of this. I have seen a lot of people shift into wealth, step into that identity, start making more money. And I really can't say I've ever seen someone who has taken down or created negative things in their life, right? Because they do it in a conscious way, and they're doing it with love, and they're doing it as the person they already are. And like I said, I attract good people. I know you're a good person if you're listening to this podcast. So it's only going to have a positive effect on the world. What if that were true? And what if you desiring more money is only going to create good? Now, I have a little homework assignment for you if you're open to it, especially if this is some area that you've been kind of stuck on. And that assignment is to literally write down, what are the effects of your business, your community, of the world, and your family and loved ones? If you allow yourself to have more money, how is that going to impact those people and those things? What is going to be the effect of the human you who has that quality of loving, kind, compassionate, empathetic? How is that going to impact the world around you? What kind of good will you be able to do in the world as an effect of having big money, right? Okay. I hope this was helpful. I'm so excited to hear if this created a shift for you. This might be an episode you want to listen to a couple times, especially if you are someone who has felt guilty about money in the past or about the idea of having money goals. All right, my friends, for those of you who are tuning in, who are loving, caring, compassionate, and empathetic, happy manifesting. Let's make a lot of money and let's create positive effects in the world as an effect of that. Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this episode is something that you'll be able to add to your manifestation toolbox to come back to when you need a little extra motivation. If you like what you've heard today and want to take it deeper, you've got to come check out my signature coaching program, the Money Manifestation Movement. It's the place where you'll not only learn manifestation, but you'll begin to live it alongside me and an amazing community of like-minded entrepreneurs doing this work together. Head on over to jamieberman.com to learn more.